Thank you so much for joining us and being a part of our Metro Life Church online campus. Why don't you take a moment to like and subscribe to this page, as well as turning on the notifications so you can be a part of everything Metro Life through YouTube and stay up to date with everything that we have going on for our online campus. If you would like to continue in your financial support of this ministry or your worship to God through giving, you could do so at metrolifechurch.com/give to again continue in your faithfulness in your tithes and offerings. Our pastors have a great message for you today, and we know you're going to be blessed.
I'm talking to you today about lighting it up during this Christmas season. If I would have given the staff a little bit more time, they would have had lights on every tree lit up as I gave you that intro, light it up, because these trees, aren't they beautiful, by the way? They've done a great job putting this all together, making it look so festive. And did you see the big tree in the lobby? We have our big A tree right out there. It's massive. Anyhow, you know, we make Christmas about a lot of things as people, which is why so much of it needs to be about fun. But why do we have Christmas? And I've been raised in the church environment. I think everybody pretty much knows why we have Christmas. But I'm learning more and more. Some people just never sat in Sunday school, never really sat in a Bible environment, and never really went to what the real reason is for the season. So it's important that we all know exactly why we have this season, why we are celebrating it. And if you were to break it down, you would see that it was God looking at a very dark world that was in need of serious repair. And he made the decision to send his son into that dark world so that then men and women everywhere would be able to experience what Jesus said about himself, the light of life. Now, when we said earlier that it was a very dark period, understand there was a lot of good going on in that day as well. There were highlights, but there were also lowlights. There were times where life seemed to be pretty good. Religion during that day was adding a measure of light to that dark season. It was needed. It was beautiful. They had everything that went in line with their practice of religion that helped make their life a little brighter. We can compare this to what would be a dimmer switch. You know, if you have lights, like I have in my office, they have gone in and they've replaced all of the lighting that I had with this new LED setup. And the first day that I went in there after the old lights were taken out, the new lights were put in, I almost put my hands over my eyes. It was so bright. I had no idea that those lights could be that bright. So what they've done is go in and put a dimmer in it. And that dimmer just allows us to control the output of the lighting so that the room would take on a certain mood. So now you go in, it's only at half power. But there's still more power left in that light bulb that could bring more illumination. You just don't see it until the light's turned all the way up. Well, back in the day, as well as today, for them, religion was bringing a measure of light, but it was only like half up on the dimmer switch. And it created a certain mood in the environment that was okay for that particular time. But we needed more light. And so when Jesus was sent, it's like somebody turned the switch all the way up, and now real life was starting to be experienced. If we're not careful, we will get ourselves caught up into living a life that's only half powered, where the switch is only halfway up. Maybe we look at life through the lens of what brings us a certain kind of fulfillment in life. Because a lot of what we see that tries to bring us fulfillment in life is just an illusion of real happiness and joy. For instance, things that we can buy. Not that money makes us happy, but money does contribute to our mood. Things that we're able to enjoy, things we're able to do. It may not bring us total fulfillment and happiness, but it does bring us a measure of joy. Some of us, when we were dating our spouse, we thought, man, I'm really going to be happy when I finally marry them. And that brought us a measure of happiness. But if we bought into that being the silver bullet for making my life what it is, then all we were really buying into was an illusion. Because darkness has this ability to distort reality. If you've ever sat in the dark and you looked out into nature, you would swear everything that's going on in nature, it's either the biggest bear that's ever been spotted in the woods, or it's the lion that's coming at you, because there's so much noise in darkness that heightens your awareness and your senses. Only to realize that in the dark, in the woods, the thing that makes the loudest noise is the smallest animal running around. The big ones know how to calculate their steps and surprise their prey. The little ones, they're just trying to get something to eat. So darkness has this ability to distort things. And for some people in the world today, they're buying into this illusion that real happiness can be found in a person or in things or in accomplishments. And all of those are great. We should be striving for that. But never give in to the thought that that's all there is to life. Because only Jesus brings an illumination to our life, to our spirit, in our heart, in our mind, to what is really sustaining, fulfilling, and solid. It's eternal. So if there's ever a time of year where people should be experiencing the light of God, it's now. Not being overwhelmed by year-end deadlines. Not having to deal with the mixed emotions and just wanting to pass on this Christmas. Because I'm just not in the flow. I'm just not in the mood. I'm still hurting. I'm still sad. I'm still confused. We shouldn't let this one pass. Because we as a people should be the ones who should be experiencing this light because of our connection to God. So, I don't need Home Depot reminding me that this is the time to go out and have fun. I don't need Publix giving me one of those soft, beautiful commercials reminding me that family is important during Christmas while I gorge out on that big table full of their food. I'm the one that should be embracing it, because I'm the one that understands that light should bring a brightness to my life and should be fun, and should bring fun and a life that's full of happiness, because this is the happiest time of the year. So let me help you with this today. And I'm going to be a little practical, if you don't mind. From a spiritual perspective, we make up a beautiful life and we understand the reason for the season, but how do I really light this life up? Well, here's a few things that I want to give you. And by the way, if I was a counselor or a coach, you'd have to pay me a whole lot of money for this. But I'm going to get by on a pastor's salary this week. So watch what I can give you that's going to help you. Here's a few things going to help you light up your Christmas. Number one, you got to choose to light up your Christmas. It's a choice that we make. And again, you have to actually give this one thought. I know how it is to have a business. I know what it is to get out there and really want to try to make things happen. And we think, well, my wife's going to take care of the holidays, and my wife's going to make this fun for the kids. But to really bring brightness to this thing, to really light it up, I got to also take on responsibility and say, man, I'm going to do things for my kids and my family that nobody else can do. I'm going to light this thing up. I'm going to make this fun. I'm making a decision and a choice to make this Christmas what it needs to be. And give this whole 11 months of 2020 behind me a real black eye. I'm not going to let this whole year of 2020 ruin this year. I'm going to finish this year strong. Now, that's not what I want to do. That's not what I want. I just want to have a pass on this one. I don't feel like getting into the flow. But I don't want to miss it. Because this is about Jesus being the light of the world. I have this dilemma, a lot of my dilemmas I have in life, and I share them with you because it's part of my own self-therapy. But I have a problem with the high beam dilemma. I don't know if you have this in your car or not, but it's like some people just don't know the rules of the road when it comes to high beams. They don't know the exact distance that we should take off the high beam, and they don't know what they should be doing when it comes time to flash the high beam. And I'm not sure the lingo, if it's one flash or two flashes. I'm not sure when I should just leave them on because they may be bright. I may cause an accident. I don't know when, if they don't respond to those brights, if I'm supposed to pull over in their lane for a second and get back out to get their attention. But it's a dilemma, and I have it. I don't know when I'm coming up behind vehicles, when my high beams are supposed to be shut off, because evidently half of the road don't understand when their high beams are supposed to be shut off because it blinds me in my car. It's a real dilemma that I have. Anybody else have a problem with your high beams? You know what I'm talking about? You really struggle with it, and you're like, why doesn't everybody understand what the high beam rule is? You should have learned it when you took the class instead of paying your 16-year-old to learn the manual and then go take the test online for you. It's a confusing little issue. But I noticed in the new cars, we don't have that dilemma because you hit the button and it goes to an automatic high beam. There's a sensitivity on the inside of that lighting of your car that allows it to know how far out they should be shut off, when no one's in front of you. Gets a little confused sometimes with the brightness of the road and the lights. But it seems to take all of the decision making out of when you put on your high beams and when you take them off. See, that's what we need as a Christian. Listen, it's not a decision. We really shouldn't have to make a decision of whether I bring the spirit of Christmas to the family or not. We should bring it because we're Christians. We're celebrating Christ. We have a relationship with Jesus Christ, whose birthday it is, that we celebrate during this season. And for people in my family, they decided to make my 60th birthday like a week or month experience. If we're willing to do this for some old 60-year-old, why aren't we doing it for the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and the Savior of the world? Not just one day. Let's hit the high beams and light this thing up. Years ago, Mary was talking to her sister, and they were wanting to have the church that they started in Orlando. They wanted it to be like our church. They wanted it to feel like Metro. And we, over the years, just made decisions that if we're going to have a church, it's really going to be based not just on this kind of ministry up here, on preaching and singing, and on praying and prophesying, which is important. You need it. But we made a decision years ago that ministry is people, not just programs. It's not performance. It's people. It's people work over paperwork, people over programs. And if we're going to have programs, it has to always be about touching the people. So our church is about relationship, and it's pretty clear that it's something that, with our verbiage even, it's something we try to really strive for. Now, we don't always get it right. Sometimes we miss it, because anytime you're going to deal with relationships and connecting with people, it's always messy. Husbands and wives don't always get it together. They have disappointments. They have setbacks. They have arguments. They have fights. And the same thing is going to be happening in the church. If a husband and wife can't hit it straight all the time out of the park with relationship, how can we do it in the church? But we're going to strive to make ministry about people. And one of the ways we did that for many years, especially as we started, is we always tried to do things where the people were involved. So during Christmas, we would have midnight breakfasts over at Denny's. And all of us showed up, and we had a great time. And we'd come, the kids would be in their pajamas, and that's when our church was small. And we were creating, even in a smaller church environment, what would be the DNA of Metro. So we'd do crazy things like that, and it was all fun. I mean, I can still see the pictures in my mind of us being out there. Everybody was excited. Nobody was sleepy. They were just having fun together, and I was like, this is the craziest thing. And then it went from a couple of booths that we would have to a couple of Denny's restaurants, one in the north end of town, one in the south end of town, one up in Broward, because it was just blowing up. So her sister would come to town, and she'd say, man, Mary, I love the feel of your church. How do you do that? And so she was telling Martha, here's what you need to do. If you're going to create this kind of relational environment, you have to be the one that really steps out and makes that happen. You have to be the party and not wait for somebody to invite you to the party. You have to make the choice that if this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do. And that's the choice as it pertains to Christmas right now. We have to be the ones to say, I'm going to light this puppy up. Even if my kids look at me like I'm crazy and I'm pushing them out of their little zone, and if it's forcing them to get off their phones and pay attention to us around the time, I'm going to do it, because if I want the party, I'm going to bring the party. And we got to make sure that this is a choice that we have to make. So let me give you a little free advice for a minute. It's not going to cost you anything. But here's you're going to learn. Ready? Sometimes in life you got to do two things. One, put your problems on hold. Call me and I get another call come in. I'm going to say, hey, hold on 1 second. Let me just put you on hold. Deal with the other call. We got to do that to problems. Problems are always calling. They're always wanting our attention. They're always trying to steal precious moments that we can have with our loved ones. They're always vying for our attention. Put that sucker on pause. Just put it on hold for about 30 days. And your worries, tell them you'll get to them in January. I promise you, your problems and your worries are going to be waiting for you in January. But don't let them mess up your Christmas. You are going to focus on celebrating the life that God has given you. So be the fun, do the fun, love the fun, and I promise you, you're going to make Christmas fun. Here's another thing. It's not costing you any extra, but write this down. Get out and light it up. I mean, really. Just don't talk about it. I love our Latin friends, but man, you talk a lot and you don't do. Just do. If you're going to talk it up, let's do it. And I'm talking to myself. I'm Latin by relationship. I'm Latin by just hanging out osmosis with so many of you. So I got to do this too, because it's not easy. For me, everything's business, 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 business. If we're going to travel, 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 travel. I mean, when we go out of town as a family, the kids know. Mary knows, Chris knows, they all know. Don't bother Dad from the night before we leave to the moment we get on the get to the airport and are sitting for the plane to taxi off. Because to me, it's like business, business, business. We got to get out the door. We got to get there early. We got to get through TSA. I'm going to have an argument with one of the TSA people. They're not going to like me. I'm not going to like them. This is going to be terrible. And then when I get there, I'm going to have to make sure I'm there early. And when they give the first call, I'm going to go up there to get in the plane first, because I want my piece of luggage up there, and I don't want to have to go to the back to get mine. I want it here. And I'm like stress, 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 stress the whole time. Mary and the girls are like, they're like, on their phone. I'm like, how can you? We got to get up. Go. Let's go. Let's go. Pick your feet up. Let's go. I'm preaching to myself. I can't just talk about having fun. I got to go out and decide to have fun. So because I work this way, sometimes I need a schedule. So I'm going to give you my schedule. Not mine. I'm not going to do it this year. I got grown kids. But maybe this will work for you. Ready? Here's how to light up your year. Do something different. And start now. Don't wait for next week. Do it this week. Ready? Monday. Take a picture. I think they put it on the screen down in Dayland. Maybe you got the copy of this. Here's what you can do tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Start the week off this way. Go out and buy some Santa hats and just take some pictures of you and the entire family. Hold on, I'll have them all up there for you, honey. So just wait. You'll get them all. You don't have to waste your time. You can go out and get Santa hats. Get Santa hats. Take a picture of you and everybody in the family. Put on a Santa hat. Take a picture in front of the Christmas tree. Then go to Walgreens. You can actually send it to Walgreens. They'll make for you, I think, a Christmas ornament. You'll put 2020 on that Christmas ornament, and you'll hang it on your tree. And every year, you'll be reminded that in the worst year of your life, you guys chose to light it up at Christmas. That's just tomorrow. But I got another one for Tuesday. Get in the car and go find your Christmas house lights all over the neighborhood. Find a neighbor. Just go Christmas house light driving. You seen those before? We hardly do it anymore, but there's certain houses that really know how to light up their houses. Go do it. Have fun with the family. The temps are going to start to drop. You can roll the windows down in your car, leave the AC on too if you want, open up that sunroof that you never use in your car, open it up, take the kids out, go have a drive, see what it looks like out there with you and the girlfriend or the boyfriend or the wife. Go have some fun, and then go home and finish some extra decoration in your own house. Come on, get busy. Hire somebody if you have to go string those lights if you don't want to hurt yourself. Go do it. And if you think your house is already done, have you done your bedroom? Have you put a Christmas tree in the kids' room? I mean, go do something different. Go make them. You can figure out how to do it. Borrow one for a week. Bring it back next Sunday. Just go have fun. Decorate. Make Tuesday your decoration. But then Wednesday, come on, pull out the hot cocoa. Get the fire pit going. It's going to really be cool. And make a memory out on the porch and the patio with the kids and the family. Come on, just do it. It may only last you about 30 minutes, but I promise they're going to remember that night forever. Tell stories, Dad. Go back and remember your stories and share them with your kids and your wife about the stuff you did when you were kids with your family. Share those moments. Make memories together. And then Thursday, light up some Christmas cookies, man. Get busy cooking. You can find them. You can go on Pinterest and you'll find some great recipes. Or you can follow the Pioneer Woman. She's like my wife. She's my cooking wife. I like that big woman with red hair that loves to be able to make. I watch her every Saturday morning, the Pioneer Woman, to get ideas for the kids and Mary to bake. She's got some great Christmas recipes. I wouldn't do Giada. She's not real good. I don't care for her. She's a fake Italian. So you could find some real cool recipes out there and go home and cook them, bake them together on Thursday. That'll be a great way to bring the week now. And then on Friday, you got to have movie night and watch The Elf. Come on, you got to watch The Elf. Has anybody not seen The Elf? Let me see your hands. Anybody not seen The Elf? 1, 2, 3. Sophie, I'm going to give you a gift. Go watch The Elf. You're going to love The Elf. And if you're not crazy about The Elf, then just do a whole night of Hallmark Channel movies. Come on, you got to do that. Put it on just let it run, man, and binge on the, because you know, same story, just different people. You know what I'm saying? Every one of them. But it's great. You fall for these characters. You're like, where you been in all of my Netflix viewing? Then Saturday, go back to making some Christmas sweets, but not for you. Share them with somebody that you know. Share them with a friend. Share them with a neighbor. You'd be amazed at how that'll open up the door. I was coming in yesterday from running some errands, and 3 neighbors of mine were all out front of their house at the same time. And 2 of them connected in front of their house, and the other guy right next to me was checking his mail because he evidently didn't get it on Friday. I drove up, and I thought to myself, I'm a little jealous. Nobody invited me to this block party of all these men. And I'm like, gosh, all of us need to be invited to the block party. Let's get to know our neighbors during this time of year. They're probably waiting for you to come over and introduce yourself to them. So there's the 6. I give you a full 6 days. You can take a picture of that, honey. Go ahead. You got it? Perfect. That's going to help really light up your life, because I really do believe, guys, the greatest gift we give each other are memories. Memories never grow old. They never get out of date. They don't break. They're beautiful. You do this and watch how it really will make a difference. And that's why even our church family, you know, we shut things down on the 26th after Christmas. We stay in touch with people that have real emergencies here, but our church staff, we say, look, you're blacked out for the whole month of December. Make sure you're working. We do it in Easter as well. Those are blackout dates for our team. We try not to travel, especially those that are new, those that have been around for a while working. We give them a little seniority pass there. But during the week of Christmas, we're all hands on deck. But then after that, we give them that full week. And it's not even part of their vacation package. It's just take off, go work on your family. Go make a lot of memories with them. Because it's hard to do. Right now for us, let's see, we're going to have an event tonight. We're going to be busy. Pretty much every week, every night of these weeks, for the next couple of weeks, not only during the day do people work, but they work at night. They got practice, they got rehearsals, they got programs, they got all their things. And during a time where we're saying to you, go make memories, these people are working. So we say chill. After Christmas, New Year's, you guys enjoy that time. Go make memories together, because we don't want to just build a big church and not have big, beautiful families in our church and have our staff missing out on that. No, it's got to be together. Thirdly, here's something else. Light up someone else's Christmas. If you really do want to see your Christmas lit up, help somebody else's Christmas be filled with such joy and happiness. Maybe there's somebody you need to invite over for Christmas dinner. Maybe there's people that you know do not have family in town. Well, here's the opportunity to really help them. Even the older ones. Let's include them in our activities. Let's get them around our church shows that we have coming up on December 18th, 19th, and 20th, where the kids are going to have fun. And invite somebody with you, because when you do that, you really make it about them. And we've learned when you make Christmas about others, God will make Christmas about you. He'll really bless you. I see Melanie Gomez here with Nick, and Tony helps us out. He's in the back handling security or safety detail. You know, it was in a Christmas tree lot over 20 years ago. We were selling Christmas trees over at the International Mall. We would do it to help us make an extra $5,000 or $10,000, and at that time for the year, that was a big money. So we'd be out there for 30 days away from family and selling Christmas trees. The beautiful thing about it was we'd have a big banner facing 107th Avenue that said Metro Life Church. And so it was great promotion for us. They came walking in to the tree lot. They bought a tree. We had some information about our church, and we invited them to church. And they have since been with us over 20 years. That's a blessing. That it took a simple invite to get them to the church. Melanie was the church girl. Tony, not so much. But Tony always came along for the ride and was always involved. And then all of a sudden his heart got connected to God and to this place. And they have been so vital. Do you know there's somebody out there right now that's waiting for you to invite the church? And they're going to be the next Tony and Melanie Gomez and Nick to come and be a part of this church. But if you don't go make that happen for them, if you don't pass that on and light up their lives, then they'll miss out on that opportunity. And then my last point I share with you today is to light up Christmas with a big give offering. Since it is the most giving time of the year, let's include Jesus in our giving. It was after my dad's passing that a local pastor, or not a local, a pastor from Ohio, I had not been in touch with him personally for years. He and I had met at a couple of Joel Osteen events and some other events that we would do together. And our real connection was our last names. He was Caminetti. I was Alessi, both Italian. And he reached out to me the office reached out to me on a Monday night when Mayor and I got away for a couple days over in Naples. Wonderful family in the church treated us to just get away and relax after Dad had passed. So we're there, and it was bittersweet because we loved being alone, but there was that sadness, that hole in our heart from Pop's passing. A person in the office called me that afternoon on Monday and said, "Hey, listen, Pastor, just want you to know, Pastor Caminetti from Canton, Ohio, sent you $1,500 in honor of your dad's passing." That so touched my heart. See, our church family gave to us during this time. They gave so much of their time. They came and washed our home, cleaned our home for us. They came and provided food for us along the way. It was so beautiful, all that they did, and they gave offerings. But an unexpected gift from an unexpected person lifted my spirit when I was going through such a hard time. Two things happen when you and I give. One, it lights up our life when we give. That money you gave to the building, that roof, that's going to light up your life, brother. You said you were going to do it, and you followed up with it. I love that about you. But that's how you light up your own life. The Bible says it's better to give than it is to receive. So there's something that is triggered on the inside of you when you give. It's a light. It's what God did when he gave Jesus to us. He gave, and it lit up the world. When you and I give, it lights up our life. You got to see it. It's not about money. It's about an action. It's about a spiritual principle that when you give, boom, it just lights you up. But let me tell you what it does for the person that receives. It lifts them up. When I was a bit discouraged, come on, man, we lost my dad. Of course I'm going to be discouraged. I'm going to be sad. It's like a pastor said to me, Steve, while you go through this, just be a son. Don't be a pastor. Don't even be a dad. Just be a son. Just mourn. Cry. Feel it. You're going to. Come on, we all know parents are going to pass one day. We understand that. Some pass before their time. Others pass right on time. I think my dad passed right on time, to be honest with you. But it still doesn't take away the pain. But just knowing somebody was thinking about me from the middle of the United States of America, enough to where he sent a gift, lifted my spirits just enough. You know what I felt? I felt like God says, Steve, there's people that remember and see you right where you're at. You're going to make it, man. You're going to get over this. You just hang in there. You're not alone. There's others that love you too. And I'm surrounded by love. I'm surrounded by so many good people that sow into our life. But that seed, unexpectedly at that moment, lifted my spirit. So of all the giving you're going to give, and some of you corporately, you do something with your corporations for nonprofit purposes, you have to do it by the end of the year. Consider Metro Life. If you want God's hand and blessing in your business, consider sowing out of it. Watch the light come on in 2021 for you. But notice, when you do that, it's not about money. It's about lifting up the hearts and the spirits of others. We're doing it today, by the way. Single moms are leaving here from church, and they're going to walk away with a Christmas tree that the generous donations of this church has helped us buy to be able to give them this Christmas. It's going to happen with some single parent children. We're going to see lights come on in them. They're going to walk out of here, some of them discouraged, but they're going to be so encouraged when it's all over, all because somebody is faithful with a big gift. Well, Pastor Steve, how big should I give? Hey, how good has God been to you? Decide from there. Let his goodness determine what kind of gift you want to give. Father, I pray today that something that we have been able to say will help ignite in someone who may be a bit overwhelmed, a bit discouraged, a bit just disconnected because they're not in the flow of the holiday because of everything that's been going on in 2020. Let them sense a light coming on. And thank you, Lord Jesus, for being that light that even the word says about you. In you was life, and that life was the light of all mankind, the light that shines in darkness, and the darkness does not overcome it. Thank you. We cannot be overcome because the light is on the inside. And we will celebrate this season of Christmas. In Jesus' name, amen and amen. I hope you were blessed this morning. God bless you, Metro.
We know you were blessed by that message in the ministry of Metro Life Church. So why don't you just take a moment to like and subscribe to this page and even turn on the notifications so you can stay up to date with everything about our Metro Life Church online campus. And again, if you would like to continue your financial support of this ministry or your worship to God through giving, you can do so at metrolifechurch.com/give. And why don't you also take a moment to share this video and this message with as many people on your social media platforms as possible to continue to spread this message and the message of Jesus Christ to the world. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon.